Welcome to the Meadows, wherever you may be tuning in for the big moment, which is the box draws for the Group 1 Temlee and also the Group 1 Zoom top week 1 of the Australian Cup Carnival here at the Meadows this Saturday night. My name's Jason Adams. I'm joined by the Racing and Media Manager here at the Meadows in Corey Smith. And Smithy, we've seen the fields unveiled yesterday. There hasn't been a lot of drama or debate or people being criticised off the back of it, which would mean the selectors got it right.
I was lucky enough to not be on the selection panel this time, Patch, which is always a good thing because it's usually pretty hotly debated, and I'm sure there has been in living rooms all around Australia about it. But as you said, not a huge amount on socials, which means that it's probably not too far off the mark, which is always nice.
And I'm sure when you've let people know they're in the field, everyone's saying, well, can you give us box one as well? That's usually true to form, isn't it? That's
usually the very first thing that they say. I don't even know if they ask if they're in the field or not. It's just, can I have box one if I get in the field?
Indeed, and look, when we saw the nominations come in for the Australian Cup, which of course you had to do so to be considered for the Temlee, the quality was to the forefront. Unfortunately, we don't have the likes of Good Odds Cobber, who of course won the Gold Bullion last week, decided not to continue his campaign into the Australian Cup Carnival, but still a really good set of greyhounds we've got in front of us.
Yeah, really high calibre greyhounds throughout. Even some of the greyhounds that missed out on the Australian Cup heats are really high quality. So it just goes to show the strength of the sprinting kind of population at the moment in Victoria in particular.
100%. All right, we're going to get underway with the Temlee first, and before we do so, run us through the pre-draw order, which isn't the box draws.
This isn't the box draws. So for those that have never seen a banjo box draw before, on one side we will have the numbers, and then there's the colours on the other side. The colours is what the greyhound is going to jump out of, but the reordered box draw here: 1 Lakeview Emily, 2 Tim Zoo, 3 Flying Zulu, 4 Excavation, 5 Daysees Rory, 6 Smooth Plain, 7 Hotel Whiskey 1, and 8 Vincent Bale. So that's not the draw. That is the reordered draw that they're going to jump out of the colours from the banjo, which you'll see very, very shortly as we get the stewards to shake up the banjo for us. And we'll get this underway, Patch. I'm excited, nervous, all of the above.
It is a big moment, and of course important for a couple of greyhounds in particular. We know Tim Zoo wants to get towards the inside. The likes of Hotel Whiskey 1 wants to be towards the outer.
Vincent Bale goes into box number 4. Now, we've seen him just dominate from any draw at the moment. He's in such good form.
1 in 5.
So Lakeview Emily goes into box number 5, which is probably not ideal, but I do know the Whelans like her from an odd draw.
Yeah, well, we go back to the Phoenix. They're quite happy with 6, so box 5 I don't think is going to end her chances, that's for sure.
Daysees Rory goes into number 6. He gets the visitors draw, does the visitor.
7 into 3.
So Hotel Whiskey 1 goes into box number 3. He's going to inject a hell of a lot of pace down near that inside.
Certainly an interesting
1, 2, 7, and 8
there.
remaining.
Yep.
4 into 8. Excavation.
So Excavation goes into box number 8, the 2-time Group 1 winner for the Thompson Kennel.
In the same draw, which he won the Adelaide Cup from,
He
Smithy.
did.
So no stranger to that in a big race.
So Smooth Plain gets box number 2 in a big one. He usually draws poorly in the big ones, does Smooth Plain, but I reckon they'll be happy with that.
3 into 1.
Flying Zulu gets box number 1, the coveted
Bang.
box number 1. He's going to be right at the pointy end of the market. And that would leave Tim Zoo in box number 7. Not exactly where he wants to be, but an interesting box draw, that one, Patch. Hotel Whiskey 1 looks like the speed on paper. Lakeview Emily can nail the start, as can Flying Zulu. Excavation is going to want to lead this race as well. So there is speed just sprinkled throughout this whole race.
Left, right and centre, isn't it? And who do you think's the biggest winners out of this draw, Smithy, on face value?
Naturally, I would have said Hotel Whiskey 1 just because he's drawn down the rail, but he likes being drawn off the track, in my opinion. So I would say Smooth Plain, potentially Flying Zulu. So 1 and 2, there's no surprises there that they're probably the 2 that are the winners, but I think the biggest loser would have to be Tim Zoo from box number 7 on face value.
Yeah, for sure. Daysees Rory is probably another one where Tommy Zavalis, the Prince, wouldn't exactly be thrilled being out there, particularly given the depth of the opposition.
Yeah, exactly right. He can handle most draws, Daysees Rory. He's not electric early, but he's got consistency throughout his 3 splits around the track. So it's an interesting one. I don't think there's a major winner, but I think there's a couple of little losers there.
Vincent Bale, massive last week in the Gold Bullion.
Huge.
I mean, it's not lights out in any case with him, but with Hotel Whiskey One on his immediate inside, it's not perfect.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's going to help or hinder. It could go either way.
If he steps beautifully, might open up that gap.
Exactly right. So sometimes the middle draws, we've seen that in Phoenixes where the middle draws have actually worked out pretty well. So that can happen in these big races at the Meadows.
Indeed. Okay, there's the Temlee done and dusted. We might revisit that shortly before we wrap up here on this live stream. In the meantime, let's head over to Paul Searle for the draw for the Zoom Top Smithy. And look, when the nominations come in, it's not exactly going to be a vintage edition of this race, but the top end, particularly those top 4 that we saw in the pre-draw market, hold their own in these big major feature-staying races.
Absolutely, and here's the reorder as we get this underway. 1 is Ethanol Water, 2 Groove Bird, 3 Cashing Out, 4 Black Silencer, 5 Irish Millie, 6 Lanfranco, 7 Unreal Speed, and 8 Pass Mark. So that's the numbers that are in the banjo. The colour is what they're going to jump out of on Saturday night in the big one. All right. We're just having a couple of little issues there, so we'll get Scott to try and sort that out for us. Completely frozen up as we try and get across.
No good under the pump, is he?
No, he just crumbles under pressure, which is disappointing. It's unlike you and I.
Oh, clearly. Yeah. Couldn't agree more. All right, we might have to do this one verbally. So repeat that first one to us, Paul.
Okay, Ethanol Water goes into box number 1. She's going to be incredibly hard to beat, and she might come up favourite even before we do the rest of the
so,
draw.
yeah. Well, she wasn't. Black Silencer was that pre-draw, and I reckon she might be now.
Okay, Irish Millie, the Sandown Cup champ, goes into box number 3.
4 Black Silencer goes into box 7.
Black Silencer gets box number 7. Probably he's a sort of dog it doesn't really matter as much because he'll get back in the field regardless.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to think that's perfect, but you're right. He gets back, so it's certainly not lights out.
7 Unreal Speed goes into box 6.
Okay, Unreal Speed, box number 6 for his first racetrack appearance since May.
8 Passmark goes into box 8.
Okay, Passmark gets the pink draw. Another one of these dogs that probably doesn't matter as much. He'll be just kind of...
Just does his own thing, doesn't
Exactly.
he? Just a professional unit.
He is.
3 Cashing Out goes into box 4.
Okay, so Cashing Out goes into box number 4 for Vicky Wisner, who I know was thrilled, and the owners are apparently very excited to be part of a race like this.
2 Groove Bird goes into box 5.
Okay, Group Bird into box number 5, her 5th crack at a Group 1.
She was throw some early pace into that run to the first turn, that is for sure.
And 6 Lanfranco goes into box 2.
Okay, so Lanfranco gets box number 2. How good was his run the other
Oh.
week here? 4th fastest dog to ever go around the 730-metre journey. So it's certainly going to be a ripping race. I'm looking forward to it. And there's a few dogs that it probably doesn't matter as much the box draw. I think over the 700 you can kind of get some opportunities that you wouldn't always get over the 500 from some poorer draws on paper.
Yeah, for sure. But we expect, from a market point of view, Ethanol Water from the red should open up favourite.
I would imagine so. I figured she'd probably be favourite regardless of where she drew. She's a dog that can show plenty of early speed. That she's a dog that can also bomb it as well. We've seen that on occasion, so that might be a little bit difficult. But if she comes out from box number 1, good luck catching her because she's going to run low 42s, you'd imagine.
Yeah, any sort of replica of what we saw last Thursday night at Albion Park is going to be good enough to be in winning contention in the Zoom Top this Saturday night. So there's the 2 draws, Group 1 Temlee, Group 1 Zoom Top, but that's not the only treat we get on Saturday night, Smithy, as greyhound racing fans. Heats to the Australian Cup as well, and having a look through the noms, although we've taken out the best 8 for the Temlee, it's still an exceptional lineup.
Certainly is. Over 100 nominations, which we were absolutely thrilled about. It shows that I think trainers are kind of supporting us with the new format that started last year, the 3-week series. The Temlee dogs, of course, get exemption through to the semi-finals, which is week 2 of the Australian Cup Carnival, and we've got 64 dogs that are going to do battle in the 8 heats on Saturday night, and some reserves as well that are high-quality animals.
Yep, and just a reminder for anyone out there who's not familiar with this new format, which is just in its second year, the Group 1 Rookie Rebel will be run of 1 in the 3rd week of the series. So great opportunity for sprinters to bomb out the Australian Cup Series or stay as a miss out on the Fanta Bale Super Stays heats and have that Rookie Rebel there as the last one.
Yeah, there's a dog like Tim Zoo who we see in the Temlee. I think he's at the pointy end of the markets at the moment for the Rookie Rebel a couple of weeks later. So if he wins the Temlee, he then bombs out in the Australian Cup semis, he gets another crack at the Group 1 in a Rookie Rebel on week 3. Of course, the Thompson camp will obviously want to get through to an Australian Cup, but it's one hell of a consolation there, the Rookie Rebel, if he does indeed go that way.
Yeah, and hey, Smithy, don't doubt a very good operator. Scotty's got the box draw sorted out. Let's cut back to that one more time. Ethanol Water 1, Lanfranco 2, Irish Millie 3, cashing out for Group Bird 5, Unreal Speed 6, Black Silencer 7, 8 pass mark. What was your take on Unreal Speed being selected in this field? Because there's possibly people out there saying he hasn't ran or raced for over 6 months. How can he go straight into a Group 1 Invitational? But he's got that X factor and has had that benefit of the depth in the nominations not being what they could have been if those other ones that competed in the Gold Cup last week came down.
I think majority of people would understand that the depth wasn't there when the Zoom top kind of came around. There's dogs like Valpolicella, Exploded is injured.
Late Night News
as well, who I think will be coming down and trialling on Wednesday night and having a look at the Fanabale Stayers next week. So there's a lot of dogs, Kenya All Class, going towards the Australian Cup instead. There's a lot of dogs that probably would have made this field and Unreal Speed might not have if they were all nominated. But that's the way that the cookie crumbles. He gets his opportunity, and you can't doubt Robbie Britton when it comes to a stayer. And presenting him first up off 8 or so months is going to be one hell of a training effort if he gets the job done.
Yeah, 100%. He's had that trial as well, which he's needed to, given he's been absent for 6 months. Was it Geelong? And he went pretty quick as well?
Geelong about 25-50 odd in a satisfactory trial, which is absolutely humming along. He's just got to run a few hundred metres longer on Saturday night.
And probably ran home in astronomical time as well. So there's the draws. Spoke about the Australian Cup heats, which of course feature on Saturday night as well. Smithy, for anyone who wants to get out here this Saturday night, what is on offer for the punters?
It's going to be a ripping night. I think most importantly, $5 beers all night out on the deck.
Most importantly.
$10 pizzas as well. We'll be running a bit of a punters club and we'll be having plenty of fun out here too. So fingers crossed everyone comes out and enjoys it. The weather's nice and warm earlier in the week. I think it'll cool off a touch, but it'll still be a beautiful night on course on Saturday night.
That it will be. And where can people find out more?
Please head along to our website. There'll be all the information there, or give us a call here at the Meadows and we'll be able to talk you through what we've got on offer. There's plenty of bistro bookings available, so if you want to come and dine in as well, make sure you book in.
All right, that's a wrap for this stream. Box draws done and dusted for the Temlee and the Zoom top. Of course, all your respecting betting apps, particularly Sportsbet, will be up with that market shortly. But in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your Monday and full throttle towards Saturday night, 2 G1s here at the Meadows.